Coming up on Mountain News this morning, lawmakers in Tennessee and Virginia come together to fight the ongoing opioid crisis. And the COVID-19 pandemic seems to still impact students across the Commonwealth, as well as their test scores.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Hi, it's Wednesday, midweek. Jim Freeman along. Glad you're along. It is Wednesday, October 19th, 2022 at 5:30 in the morning. Cameron, I'm just having a tough time. How about Cam, the Cam man? Cameron Aaron is here this morning. Yeah, we're going to need a jacket this morning and warm me up a little bit to get me talking better this morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, you need a jacket. You got to warm up the car this morning because it is pretty chilly. Once again, as you step out the door, let's go out to I-64 and just kidding. This is more, wow, this is Whitesburg. I can't talk. Over in Letcher County. Good morning, Letcher County. Looking at clear skies this morning, and most of us are waking up dry this morning, but we are tracking a few snowflakes once again over portions of Wayne County, West Virginia, near I-64. So if you're taking the interstate this morning, you may run into a few snowflakes out there. We are waking up chilly, middle to upper 30s, 36 in Pikeville, 36 also in London, 35 for Jackson, 37 in Moorhead, 41 over in Ashland. And we are looking at a freeze warning and a freeze watch across the region, and this will last until 10 a.m. this morning. So you will want to bundle up. It is going to be a very chilly morning. The good news, we are looking at plenty of sunshine by this afternoon. Temperatures a little bit warmer in the lower 50s later on today, but we get much warmer by this weekend. We'll talk about it coming up in just a little bit. Jim?
Thanks, Cameron. You took away all the donuts there. Kentucky State Police troopers are investigating after they say a 12-year-old shot their 4-year-old sibling. The child died from the injuries. Troopers say the shooting happened on October the 12th, and they believe it was an accident. One person is dead after a school bus and truck crashed into each other in West Virginia around 7 o'clock Tuesday morning. Police say the vehicles were traveling along King Cole Highway near Mingo Central High School. Mingo County deputies say the truck caught fire after the crash, killing the man inside the truck. There were 7 children on board the bus when the crash happened. Deputies say all of the children were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. A federal appeals judge upheld the conviction of a former Southern Kentucky constable. The Lexington Herald Leader reports in 2020, Michael Wally Wallace was found guilty of planting drug evidence on people to corruptly justify arrest and seizures on property. He was the constable in Pulaski County for more than 10 years. Wallace was sentenced to 12 years in prison for conspiracy against civil rights. After his sentence, he will have to undergo 4 years of supervised release. A judge sentenced 51-year-old Ronald Stonespring of Elliott County to 100 years in federal prison. Stonespring pleaded guilty to several charges of sexually related conduct involving a minor. Officials with the Department of Justice say the case began when the minor knocked on a stranger's door. The child told law enforcement about the physical and sexual abuse they and 2 others had endured. Stonespring must serve 85% of his prison sentence. The West Virginia Attorney General is sounding the alarm about a new synthetic opioid the DEA says is as deadly as fentanyl. WYMT Washington Bureau reporter Molly Martinez has more on what you need to know.
According to the CDC, about 150 Americans die each day from overdosing, and that number is on the rise. 75% of those overdose deaths can be related to synthetic opioids like fentanyl. But now there's a new drug in town that has the potential to exacerbate a decades-long epidemic. It's called nitazene, and like fentanyl, the CDC says these synthetic drugs are often mixed with other opioids to make them cheaper, more potent, and more addictive. It also makes them highly lethal. Last year alone, 108,000 Americans died of overdose. According to the Drug Enforcement Administration, most of these victims don't know they're in for a death sentence when buying these drugs. One of the hardest hit areas is West Virginia. Attorney General Patrick Morrisey came to Washington to plead with the DEA to take action before nitazene takes any more lives.
West Virginia has been so hard hit by opioids and fentanyl in the past. You want to get out in front of it if you can, and that way we can educate our law enforcement in West Virginia as to what to look for. So that's what worries me about it. I don't want to be waiting at the back end as the body bags pile up.
Morrissey is urging the DEA to take swift action, going so far as asking that they categorize fentanyl and other synthetic opioids as weapons of mass destruction. Now, what is nitazene? According to the DEA, it comes in powder form, is usually off-white or yellowish in color, and can also come in pills that are falsely marketed as oxycodone. In Washington, I'm Molly Martinez.
Top lawmakers in Tennessee and Virginia are coming together to combat the opioid crisis. Both states are set to see one of the largest financial recoveries due to lawsuits and settlements against big pharmaceutical companies. In Tennessee, the money is overseen by Opioid Abatement Trust, while for Virginia, it's Opioid Abatement Authority.
We want to make sure there's resources for those brave individuals willing to admit they need help.
Counties and localities across both states are set to see a portion of the funding. Kentucky's test scores seem to be showing the COVID-19 pandemic is still impacting our students. A new report from the Kentucky Department of Education shows students are still struggling. State education leaders say it's going to take time to get students back up to speed.
We know the problems. We knew the problems were there before this data became available. Now it's important to continue the work of recovery.
The problems the Education Commissioner is referring to appears when looking at the graduation rates and ACT scores. 4-year graduation rates dropped for the second straight year statewide, and 5-year graduation rates dropped for the first time in 5 years. ACT scores rebounded slightly after a full point drop off last year, but they're still sitting a full point below the composite score from 2017, which, by the way, was the highest in the last 5 years. Senator Rand Paul stopped by the East Kentucky Advanced Manufacturing Institute yesterday to tour the facility and meet the faculty and students. WYMT's Jordan Mullins has more from Senator Paul's visit and from KEMA.
Senator Rand Paul stopped by ECAMI on Tuesday to take a tour of the facility, meet with students and faculty, and experience firsthand what ECAMI is doing to assist with preparing folks of all ages for a new career.
ECAMI is training people in technical fields to work with robotics, to work with machines, and some of them are people who previously worked in the coal industry and are getting new skills. Some are getting right out of high school.
Senator Paul added that 38% of folks able to work choose not to work, and that Kentucky's workforce participation needs to be higher. One student says ECAMI has given him new opportunities after being injured in a mining accident.
When you leave here, the opportunities are endless. So of the opportunities that you'll have to find work and start a new career with, just endless opportunities.
Former Marine Fernando Ramos praises the leadership present at ECAMI as well as Senator Paul, adding that work ethic is a scarcity for those in his generation.
Places like this, men like Rand Paul, women like Kathy Walker, and just ordinary men and women can achieve a lot still if they have that work ethic and, I'm gonna do what I can to make my life better attitude rather than wait for the government to give me a handout.
Creating a job-ready workforce of minds young and old.
This looks like a great opportunity for them. I'm very optimistic and very optimistic for the kids graduating from here that they'll get good jobs.
And providing opportunities in the heart of Appalachia. In Paintsville, Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
Thanks, Jordan. Senator Paul says it was an honor to visit ECAMI. And the work they are doing is a valuable asset to the Commonwealth and country at large. The Harry M. Caudle Memorial Library hosted its third candidate forum in Whitesburg Tuesday night. After the historic flooding hit in late July, the forum was considered by locals to be the most important one yet. 5 candidates running for city offices and county offices joined in the forum. Some locals joined in person at the library and some via Facebook Live. Letcher County Central student Rebecca McCauley attended, saying getting to know the candidates now, even before she can vote, is important.
It's my future, and it's the youth's future, and it's important to know who's going to be in the office when you can vote.
Anyone who missed the candidate forum can watch it on the Harry M. Caudle Memorial Library Facebook page. For one organization, the giving season is already here. Military Missions is collecting items to fill care packages now in order for our servicemen and women overseas to receive them by the holidays. Garrett Weimer and photojournalist Darnell Crenshaw talked to Military Missions about how you can help them fill the packages.
This is Military Missions HQ on Boston Road in Lexington.
Here we go. Let's just...
The objective, give our servicemen and women a taste of home for the holidays. Retired Air Force Colonel Mark Rowland and retired Marine Gary Brothers are on assignment.
And to give them something to open for the holidays.
Donations of socks, food, treats, and cards are needed ASAP so these care packages can make it overseas by Christmas.
This Christmas, we're looking at probably doing about 1,000 boxes to support 1,000 military personnel.
In order to pull this operation off, Military Missions needs reinforcements.
Over a 10-evening time period, we could use 300 volunteers.
The enemy of this mission could be inflation.
And I think that it is having an impact on the donations that we're receiving.
Colonel Rowland's motivation is his son, Air Force Captain Matthew Rowland, who was killed in action in Afghanistan in 2015.
This was a good way to carry his legacy forward, to continue his legacy of service, and to continue my service as well.
A boost in morale for both troops and civilians can go a long way.
Thank you so much for the care package. It meant so much to me. God bless you guys, and thank you so much. Greetings from the Middle East. And that card just came in yesterday.
A salute to the men and women serving our country overseas and the men and women who support them stateside. In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Just ahead this morning, an actor in the UK receives the same kind of special honor as the character he's played for more than 15 years.
And above average temperatures return to the region by this weekend. I have those details coming up.